It's a shocking phenomenon where the concept of honour is held so high that there's more shame in a person living than if they weren't. The act of killing one's own kin is almost synonymous to the atonement of a grave sin. None of the world's major religions condone the act, with it being more related to deep-rooted cultural and tribal customs. Occurring worldwide from South America to Asia, it's received widespread attention as of late. In Pakistan, recent honour killings have brought national and international outrage on the long-festering problem in the country. Young female teenagers have been killed by their own family and community for supposedly bringing shame. This has been for reasons such as marrying a man of her choice, refusing an arranged marriage proposal, and even helping others to marry. So what brings individuals to kill their own kin? Honour killing is a murder committed against a woman for actual or perceived immoral behaviour that is deemed to have breached the honour code of a household or community. These so-called honour codes are the product of deeply rooted patriarchal, social and cultural prejudices whereby women are perceived and forced to bear all responsibility for maintaining communal honour. As such, women are expected to remain modest, pure, obedient, be a virgin at marriage, and must subjugate their personal autonomy and freedoms. The most common excuse for honour killings is suspicion of intimate relations between a woman and a man, whether through adultery, sex outside of marriage, or simply becoming close companions. Even women that have been victims of rape and sexual assault are targets of honour killings, as certain communities, legally or culturally, equate these violent acts with sex outside of marriage. Women and girls have been killed for more trivial reasons as well, such as simply being in the presence of a male who is not a relative, for falling in love with someone who is unacceptable by family standards, or for trying to escape marital violence. Sometimes a mere perception that a woman has behaved disobediently, therefore shaming her father, brother, uncle or cousin, has been reason enough to make a brutal attack on her life. And it's not just women who bear the consequences, as men have been killed too, for reasons ranging from being the spouse, helping out a couple, being related to the man, or immoral sexual behaviour themselves. However, this is much more uncommon. In Pakistan, some statistics show that about 1,000 women were the victims of honour killings in 2015. However, many say the official estimates are much higher, possibly 3,000 to 4,000. Pakistani law considers honour killings as a criminal offence, but the law remains poorly enforced. In February of this year, a documentary about honour killings by Pakistani filmmaker Obaid-Chinoy, called A Girl in the River, won an Academy Award. The film prompted Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to speak out publicly on honour killings, stating that he would look into the issue and seek reform. Yet he has so far taken no action. In March, Pakistan's Senate passed an anti-honour killing bill, which is now pending National Assembly approval. The bill seeks to eliminate the option of murder committed in the name of honour to be forgiven. This is a part of law which allows the family of a murder victim to pardon the perpetrator. This has been seen by many as an escape clause because the victim and perpetrator more than often belong to the same family. The issue of honour killings is a difficult issue to deal with, as it's related to deep-rooted societal attitudes which will take years to eliminate. But many see that by criminalising the act in all of its aspects will be the first steps to changing the concept of honour. As one commentator says, you don't kill your daughter for honour, you kill her out of shame, and that's the only thing that comes out of this kind of murder. Afzal Ahmed, Asia Wide. Joining me now to explore this phenomenon from Islamabad in Pakistan is Dr. Amir Jafri, who's author of Honor Killing, Dilemma, Ritual, Understanding. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Jafri. First of all, how prevalent is this concept in Pakistani society?
Well, thanks for having me on seat. I consider it an honor. Thank you very much. As we briefly talked about, as far as the prevalence of honor killing is concerned, even if if you live in a society in this 21st century where even one person is killed because of honor and such abstract notions that people have about the way they organize their societies is one too many. Having said that, every week, you hear a few. You're in the media, so you hear a lot more about it. I've been immersed in this topic for a very long time during graduate school, and also I don't read about them in much details. I have a big, a job, I teach, and all of that. But it's really fairly prevalent, and there are a variety of reasons for it, and it's a tragic thing. Is all I can say. But it just so happens, I think, it's very easy to connect it to the recent surge in these polarized political and religious situations that we have.
But what are some of the cultural, religious, and historical reasons to make someone kill a female member of their own family?
Yeah. Well, very vast, very complex question. The roots, when I started studying it, a dozen years or so at the university, and when I was in the United States, it was a certain incident that had occurred at the office of Asma Jahangir, the famous human rights lawyer, and that triggered my interest and my work in it. And as I researched, I found that honor killing, the first thing we have to do is have to define things like what is honor. It's not something very hard. It's not like sulfuric acid at H2SO4. It's a more abstract notion. And the concept of honor is played out. It's a very human thing. It's a learned behavior. But it is spread over time and over cultures. And it's a very ancient thing. These days, it's very easy to connect it with the Islamic societies, but the truth, it's far from the truth, because in ancient societies, it's a very old thing. Basically, first of all, we have to separate it from crimes of passion, for example, because it is a premeditated murder, of a girl, woman, by a father, brother, or male agnates. Technically speaking, there is a ritual about it. And it is done, one can say perversely, in order to restore the honor of the society. And it has been, women, it's rooted in misogyny, I think, also. And also, I think more than it has become a cultural thing, but it is over a period of last couple of 5,000 years. But even before that, it was sort of a biological thing, because men historically have considered women their chattel and something that they own. And they impose that thing on them. And in a lot of societies, the femininity was different from masculinity, that masculinity had to be achieved. There were certain things that men had to do in order to prove their masculinity.
So is a key thing to this is the attitudes towards women. Do you think that's...
It is a key, yeah.
Okay. And in terms of the Pakistani government, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, he recently vowed to eradicate it. Has he been doing this in your assessment?
I'm not sure if I heard you correctly. Did you say that the government has prohibited honor killing?
Yes, the government has vowed to eradicate honor killings, I believe back in early this year. Have they done this so far?
Oh, well, there are laws and there are, and there is the application of laws. And I'm not a legal expert on these things. I don't know under what penal code it comes in. But these days, in Pakistan especially, the resurgent reactionary forces and all, they sort of play into that. They think that their ways of life are being encroached upon. And also it has to be seen in the whole phenomenon of honor killing has to be seen in terms of how cultures are organized. So it's an old binary. There are individualistic cultures and there are collectivistic cultures. So in collectivistic cultures, a lot of times the rights of the group or the rights of the family have precedence on the rights of individuals. When we talk about human rights, we think the Charter of 1948, Eleanor Roosevelt, United Nations, all of that, is a universal statement or something etched in stone from eons, when the human beings started evolving, or when Adam came to Earth. It's not so. It is a certain, certain concept of human rights, that, human beings are, they have the right to this and right to that and right to that. There are societies still on the globe that they find all of that rather laughable. They cannot organize their societies according to...
So in terms of the way forward, what sort of solutions would you suggest?
Solutions, yeah. I don't know if I have a solution, but this would go with the evolution of the society. You cannot address something like honor killing in a separate way and with a stroke of pen. Attitudes have to be changed. And certainly, men's attitudes have to be changed. It's very easy to say education does that, but, I think that does it, and it does it over a period of time, and certain equality and financial independence for women. And then then it happens. Even now there is violence against women in the most, quote-unquote, advanced societies of the world. So the solutions, if you want to ask, I don't know what the solution is, but the solution is that men should be taught these things in their homes and then in the schools.
So do you think many Islamic organizations in Pakistan play a very big role in this, in terms of addressing this problem?
Well, I haven't heard of an Islamic scholar endorsing honor killing.
No, not endorsing. I mean, in terms of educating the masses to change these attitudes, do you think they play a massive role in Pakistan?
Yeah. It's a tribal custom. It has really very little to do with Islam. It's like the problem of clitoridectomy in a lot of societies. See, when an ascendant culture or a conquering nation conquers another nation, they sort of, in Islam and Christianity did that also, they tell them, okay, you have choices. You become a Muslim, or you become a Christian, or you have to be penalized in a certain way. It could be you could be killed, or that you'll have to pay some taxes. The simplest thing for Muslims was, I think, when they went and there are examples of lots of societies, like India, for example, where my ancestors have lived for 1,000 years, is that they would say, okay, the simplest thing to become a Muslim is you have to be a good person, good human being. All you have to say is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and you become a Muslim. Okay. Now, if you were born in a Hindu family and you organize your life around those rituals, they would say, okay, your ritual of playing with colors during Holi is okay, as long as you say La ilaha illallah and pray and all of that kind of thing.
So, Dr. Jafri,
certain residuals, for example, in Africa, because clitoridectomy predates Islam by...
So, Dr. Jafri...
predates Islam by
Dr. Jafri, I think I have to stop you there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but it's a pleasure having your views on this pertinent issue, and I hope we can revisit this discussion with yourself.